Hello and welcome to the It's Taking Gaming podcast, where we now run an amazing 7 teraflops. So suck it, other consoles. I'm Dimix.
I'm Reed, and just so you know, Teraflop is how many flops a pterodactyl can do.
I'm Samuels.
I'm Ravenclaw.
No, I'm just going to kill myself now. Well, welcome, gentlemen. First of all, before we start, how was your game, or your... fucking kill me. How was your week in gaming?
Do
you think
Super Meat
interesting?
Boy was free, and I'm about to rip my fucking console apart.
Well, mods came out on Fallout 4 for console, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty
Smite is a very frustrating game.
Huh.
Tits and Fallout 4 on mods for another month. Love it.
And we
So
had a broken system and we fixed
if
it.
I can cut you off,
That was your
for
week?
a second.
Yep.
If I can cut you off for a second there, we were talking. I asked a minute ago before we started if any of the guys knew about apparently Ubisoft getting bought out. And apparently, a company called Vivendi is buying a shit ton of stock from them, and I was looking them up.
Sounds like an Italian
Good,
bread.
maybe
I want to
Company
read you
not
this list
suck.
of products from Vivendi. Sierra Entertainment, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, King's Quest, Space Quest, Blizzard
I don't know what
Entertainment,
that is in
Warcraft series, Starcraft series, and the Diablo series.
So is Blizzard.
That's a pretty good...
Basically, I don't know. It says they used to be Vivendi Universal from 2001 to 2006. They merged with Activision. They're the successor to Activision Blizzard. They were founded 15 years
So,
ago.
you're saying Activision bought Ubisoft.
Their subsidiaries are Blizzard Entertainment and Sierra Entertainment. They are worth $1.018 billion.
So basically, Ubisoft's not going to get any better, and they're going to continue to suck.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
I'm kind of surprised that's a legal thing, because Ubisoft a big company, like a big worldwide company. France, England, Canada, here in the States.
But they have been kind of failing here recently, so maybe they've, like, the losses that they've taken have been enough to, like, get them below that threshold.
And here's another thing. You said Sierra Studios?
Entertainment.
Okay, that might be something completely different, but there used to be a company called Sierra Studios, and I could have sworn they went under.
There's also Sierra Mist.
Endless Sierra.
I give that a 1 out of 5 teraflop joke.
Damn it. Aiming for the 4.
But I just don't know if I see Ubisoft getting bought out. Now, if they're buying a percentage of their company, I
All it
understand
said was
that.
they were buying stocks.
Well, that doesn't mean
And
nothing.
people are starting, and apparently as much as they're buying, people are starting to ask whether other people think Ubisoft's getting bought out.
Here's what happens when you buy a stock in a company, real quick. When you buy a stock in a company, that means you have a certain percentage control of the company. So they're probably doing that. It's kind of like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. They support Ubisoft if they're looking for investors. At the same time, they have to support, a certain idea if Vivendi comes up with one. That just means you're buying a percentage of
It gives
the
them,
company.
basically, it gives them votes in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
overall.
Yeah. It's still Ubisoft, but now it's not 100% Ubisoft.
Which, if they get enough percentage of it, then they can vote to take over.
Can
Right.
we make those votes count for making Ubisoft's games not suck?
I mean, if you want to buy a couple $100,000 worth of controlling stock,
It
sure.
reminds me of that picture that shows the plant glitching through the water. It goes, "Oh, I'm here at Ubisoft
I'm
Company."
gonna go buy some stock. I'm
Threshold.
gonna go buy some
So I
stocks
think
in
looking-
Ubisoft and tell them no more Assassin's Creed games, no more Watchdog games.
So
That had a big
looking at
reveal
this, it's saying that just a short description of like their divisions, which is Blizzard and Sierra. I think maybe what Vivendi is kind of like what Wells Fargo is, the banking and like restaurants, where they're just an overarching company that owns them, but they don't really. They just control them. They don't have any active control in what they do.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like anyway.
I don't think it's a buyout process though. I think
It
Ubisoft
says it's a
is
video
still-
game industry though, so
He said they are over Activision and Blizzard.
Blizzard and Sierra Entertainment was formerly something else. I don't remember what. But I think they just like
You broke it.
own them. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see what happens from all those buyouts that they're
Activision,
doing.
that's what it was.
But-
When Activision went under, they took what was left and merged with them. back in 2007.
Rip Activision.
Yeah, I'm not sad about that at all.
When did Modern Warfare come out?
Call of Duty.
Which one? The first one?
Yeah,
2009, right? Or 8?
I think it was 2008.
Because it was soon after we moved out. It was really soon.
Yeah.
Because some of us played that game for a long time.
The first Modern Warfare, you were still at your parents' house. Because I remember going over there and playing it.
Oh, I'm thinking Modern Warfare 2 then.
That must have been
2005.
Oh yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 was at Park Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
Because Sam raced out of his car, left it open, ran up the stairs, left the apartment door open.
So
Was all about it.
Activision worked on the Call of Duty
Excitement knows
series
no boundaries.
in 2003, I think it said.
That must have been 2007. That's the same. Then when they took over, that's when they released Modern Warfare. Pretty soon after that.
I don't know, but speaking of Call of Duty,
I was trying to
Good
get a fucking
segue.
segue.
That segue, let me just say.
that's
that
a 2 out of 5 teraflops.
That gets like 3 teraflops.
Oh, okay. Well, your ratings are better. I must be the Russian judge here.
You're the Siskel of the Siskel and Ebert.
So it looks like the clash of the I don't know exactly how you would call this, but I guess military warfare.
The two big games in
Military warfare.
like, military first-person shooter, like multiplayer crowd.
Apparently, they're going to go head-to-head again with Battlefield 1, set in World War 1. That's going to come out October 21st, allegedly. I'm just going to say allegedly because one report.
Because I like saying allegedly.
Yes. And
Indubitably.
and then you have Call of Duty, the same game. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare coming
That's the
out
catch, though.
in
It's not.
November. I'm
November
assuming
4th.
November 4th. Yeah,
Every
so
game
pretty much
is
their
a
same thing.
copy of a copy of a copy.
Except for the very first game.
All right, so
Yeah,
out of the
on with the
two,
first game, so it's the only non.
So, about the whole Battlefield and Call of Duty thing is like, what I kind of wanted to bring up was you got one game that decides that they want to do. That was very awkward. One game that decides they want to do a World War I game, which apparently there hasn't been very many of those. And then the other game decides to kind of break away from their like general trend of modern, like World War II and newer wars to go into in space, sort of a futuristic type deal. So what I kind of wanted to ask you guys was, which one would you prefer, and also why do you think Call of Duty, as opposed to Battlefield, is getting so much more hate for what they're going to do on their new game, as opposed to what Battlefield's doing?
ooh, me first.
Go.
This is not a classroom.
Damn
Speak your fucking mind.
Okay, so let me clarify your question first. Do you mean like as a one-time deal or as a permanent turn in a franchise?
So, like, saying they're going to stay with the space thing?
Yeah, like, are you talking about going in space / World War I in one time or going that way?
Just like for this certain...
Oh, okay.
Which
For this game.
which company site or which studio in their development process had the right idea?
Hands down, Battlefield. And I'll tell you why.
That's what I was going to ask, and why?
Because freaking Battlefield, if you remember 1942 and all those games, that was the height of its popularity. And then as it started to get... what was the one before the Cops and Robbers one?
Oh.
Yeah, Hardline. Which one was before that one?
Battlefield.
3,
It
4.
was just
Yeah, but it was
Battlefield.
now in the present time, though. And that's when it started to lose its popularity. Because people knew Battlefield 1942, and then the Japanese, I can't remember the expansion or whatever that was
I've
called
never
back
played
then.
a Battlefield game before.
Well, anyway, the point is that Battlefield was very popular when it was as World War II setting. So you can't go back to World War II because, yeah, there's demand for it, but there's not enough for people to be like, oh my god, we demand it right now. So it's like, so yeah, Merc. So
I will give
you go back.
all of them that. They're not going to World War II because there's been like 375,000 World War II games.
Yeah.
And
I like
like,
that
just frankly,
statistic.
I'm sick of that freaking like era.
I think it's interesting that they're going to try to take a new way. Because I was reading up on something, they didn't say a lot of details, so you'll probably have to wait until E3, which is in 4 days, by the way. And I'm sure we're going to try to cover what we can on that. So, they were talking about how they're gonna enforce like a melee system into their game, which is a risky move. But when you're going into a genre not a lot of people have done, I think it's a good risk because you're not trying to invent the better wheel. You know, you're just going in there and try to make something that's not popular. Now, on the other side of the coin, I'll keep my answer short. Sorry. On the other side of the coin,
No, you're good. I like long answers.
Call of Duty.
You gonna load this dick?
Let's look at
I'm not entirely sure how that had to do.
2.5 teraflops. But looking at Call of Duty,
Middle flops.
it's like I don't know about you, but like Call of Duty to me stopped being popular after Modern Warfare 2. But now that's obviously not true with everybody. But I'm just saying, in general, as it got farther and farther on, it seems like it's not as good. That's why Infinite Warfare is
No,
so
that's
much
about
hate.
the time I stopped playing it too. But not because they were getting like newer and newer, it's because they were staying the same. Every game was Modern Warfare or this like whatever the hell Black Ops is, which is the same modern setting.
And that's why I'm going to give my advantage to Battlefield. Because Battlefield is not going to be the same. Call of Duty is going to do the same thing it does every year. It's going to show flashy, cool Eminem music in the background. Nice little, cinematic trailer. And it's going to come out and you're like, oh my god, I could jump 3 times now. In space! And then, yeah, they may add a cool feature here, but that's it. Where are they really going to not renovate, but where are they really going to innovate when it comes to their game? So that's my answer.
So Melee trumps the space?
I'm not going to say it necessarily trumps. You'll have to see how the Melee system goes. But my point is that they're trying something new. Like Battlefield's like World War I. Yeah, we could easily focus on trench warfare and just shooting a gun. But you know what? Let's see if we could add a melee system to it. Call of Duty's just like, well, you're going to have a weapon and you're still going to have to shoot. And there's still going to be that few quick time events. And there's still going to be that odd cutscene. And then that's it. To me, that's just what I see. I think it's going to be the same thing. I really
Before
do.
I get my answer, I want to hear it like everybody's. So
That's all I
here's
got.
my thing is like what people always say about the reason why people who don't play it and love it and hate on it is like it's always the same game. It's always the same game. I'm like,
wait, which one are you talking about?
what are you talking about?
Call of Duty, I think so.
You just said.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Call of Duty.
I didn't say Call of Duty, but
Alright,
that's
gotcha.
the one everybody shits on. Nobody ever says shit about Battlefield.
Because nobody plays Battlefield.
Exactly.
Very true.
That was worth a teraflop.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I can understand. The reason I stopped playing them is because nobody else was playing them. Nobody I knew. Brian and Travis stopped playing. Travis got rid entirely of his Xbox, and Brian just is busy with shit.
He's a fuckboy.
Yeah. So that's why I stopped playing. But I've still never played a game that captured the feel of a military shooter that well. I still love the gameplay in it. And I still call bullshit every time some goddamn asshole with Ninja Pro comes around a fucking corner on me. But I would give it to Battlefield, the new one coming out, because I really don't see any more improvement in what they're doing. All anybody has been able to tell me that's new with this Call of Duty versus the other.
I've always leaned more towards the Call of Duty side of the debate between Battlefield and Call of Duty, just because of the entire the gameplay system of the two games. Battlefield tends to lean more towards the huge, big team, vehicle, huge map type gameplay, and that is just so much of a strain on the hardware itself that it slows it down. Not like the feel of the gameplay, but the actual reaction time to the actual action happening in the game, and that just it causes way more of the lag effect in the game, and that always has been a huge issue with me. So that alone is why I tend to prefer Call of Duty. But then also with the new releases that they're coming out with, even just not going between the history of them, I'm still leaning towards Call of Duty because it's their new setting is in space instead of being in modern time or a little bit in the future. space is just a really cool setting. So anytime a game transitions from being in a modern time to a space adventurer time, that always just captures like my kind of attention because I enjoy the entire theme behind it. Then Battlefield announces that they're going to World War One, which is, like 10, 20 years before World War Two. I can't remember the exact specifics, but it's not very long after or long before World War II that there was World War One, and the wartime tactics during the two times are a bit different, but it's not that different. It's not different enough for me to think that it's going to change that much. Amos mentioned that if they were going to do encompass, or they were working on a melee mechanic, and that really doesn't. That's not what I'm looking for in a shooter. A melee combat system. That I would be fine if they just took melee out completely. It doesn't. That's not what I'm looking for in the game. So
it's a matter of preference.
If you're looking for a melee system, you're looking for like that game that's coming out with the
For
samurai and the
by
medieval
Ubisoft
and those guys, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's
sorry.
And that's the setting of World War One is also just too similar to World War Two in the fact that the look of it is quite similar. I mean, what could they add really? Maybe like chemical warfare that got banned in World War Two or after World War One was banned, like bombing places with mustard gas to the point where people still don't even really go to those places and shit. That I don't really see it being different enough for me that I would play. But plus, and I applaud. Honestly, I applaud Call of Duty for going into space. They're not. They're actually branching away from the same setting over and over again. And regardless of what Amos thinks about it being the same thing over and over again, that it'll just be the same thing again. It might be. It might have some new mechanics, but at least it's not going to look the same, and I might be on another planet.
So, now I've heard everybody's kind of answer to it. I've heard it's kind of personal preference or popularity or trying something new. Well, my whole thing about it is it's kind of tied in with personal preference, but also that what Sam just said, they're doing an entirely different setting than they've done in any of their games before. It's always been, World War II, modern times, and that's kind of how I got the same feel of same thing over and over and over and over. Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, 2, 3. That's all the same era of warfare. And that's going to get old when you play it every year. So the fact that they're going into space where that hasn't really happened. I mean, we've gone to the moon and explored different things like that, and we can see into the galaxy and stuff with certain telescopes and everything. But we don't have stuff developed out there so they can make spaceships, they can make weapons, they can make armor, they can make all this kind of stuff because they can just bring it out of their imagination because we don't know what that's really going to look like when it happens. So they can create anything. Whereas if you're going to a World War One setting, you've got to use the stuff that happened in World War One. You can't be like, now we've got this cool fancy shit that lets you use jetpacks and crazy shit like that because that wasn't around in World War One. I don't like going backward in time for a new game. We've been there, we've done that, we've had that era of warfare. So they fought in trenches, that's your big draw. Okay, it's just a couple of ditches, people running around in them.
I'm not saying that's what the thing is.
I don't get the appeal of it, I guess. And to me, there isn't enough space games as it is. And while I'm not going to go out and buy Call of Duty because of that, and I particularly don't even like Call of Duty, that to me gives it the edge because it's new. They haven't done that before, whereas old time warfare has been done over and over and over.
Here's another thing, like you said, you didn't want, because you don't see the appeal of it. There's another, like the other side of that is, there's some people who don't like Call of Duty as it is, even people who have played it and have liked it, even casually, is that some people feel that it's become too much. Like they've added too much into the games. And going back to that is like, you're stepping away from all the bullshit you got to remember and trying to figure out. Like I've even watched Vanos and his crew play the zombies for Black Ops 3, and that seems like a whole goddamn field of new shit to try and deal with.
I guess it's all about mindset, because I don't get the whole making it simpler thing. I don't want it to be simpler. Like, the whole, in Gears of War, how they went from regular horde mode to the new horde mode, and the new horde mode had things you could put up like barriers and shit like that, and you could upgrade and all that kind of stuff. That to me is awesome, because I like customization and things like that. In the simple horde mode, where everybody's standing in a building and like hiding in a corner, because that's the most effective way to win, because you can't build any kind of barriers unless you're like putting up those little shields and having them a certain way to where the enemies can't get past them. Like, to me, that's more boring, because what the fuck is really happening? Nothing.
I'll counteract you on that too. I don't like the way they did horde mode in the.
Oh no, there's a ton of people that don't like it that way. I'm just saying that's why it's kind of, I guess, a personal like preference thing to which way you want the games to go, because I like to have to think more when I'm playing than just a simple, there's nothing for me to upgrade, nothing for me to do, I'm just standing here shooting. Like, that doesn't appeal to me at all.
Like, the reason I don't like it is because it feels like if I don't do that the game is way harder than it was before. That's my only thing. Like, I've played, Gears 3 Horde mode without even touching any of that. Just played it like it was regular Horde from the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's a lot harder because of all the different enemies now and all that kind of stuff. But I understand it. Like, when we're playing together, I love it because it's actually us doing it all together. Like, I think you start with like $500, so one person puts up barricade here, somebody else puts another one up to start you out and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But like we've said before, like one of our first podcasts, we discussed everybody's personal preference. I'm a single player guy. I don't even have multiplayer games unless somebody else has them first. So I guess it's more like, for me, I just don't like it if it doesn't fit for a single player aspect. I have a ton of games I don't play because nobody else plays them now. Like, I've got GTA, we never play it anymore because it's pretty much burned out.
I'm a single player game, like single player game kind of guy too, because that's where I get like my love of like the customization stuff from, is because of all the single player games that let you do that, and so it's not just a simple here's your character and go. Like,
single player is great.
Strategize
like
around.
Fallout, I love like games like that where it's just a single player game with a ton of customization. That's great.
One day I'll finish the campaign.
One day,
I wanna
you
slap
both
shit.
will.
So that's, I guess, I don't know. That's just kind of where I was going with the whole. They're doing something new, I guess, that they haven't really done. I mean, regardless, I don't really like either franchise, so whatever.
Somewhat on that that aspect of it, it seems like every I can't speak for Black Ops story, but it seems like in every
Look on Dakota's face.
but it seems like in every Call of Duty campaign. Alright. So it seems like in every Call of Duty campaign that they've had, I can't really speak for Black Ops because I haven't played it because I thought it was fucking stupid from the beginning and every single time. But it seems like all the campaigns for Modern Warfare and Advanced Warfare have been around a terrorist group is doing this and you have to stop them, and that's the military's thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Then also World War I, World War II, we know the enemies in them. In this new one, I don't know if everybody is called this because they haven't really like announced it or anything. But you can hear on the radio system.
It's in the trailer.
If it's in the trailer, and you can hear on one of the dialogues somebody say, "We are now at war with the Frontier, Frontier Coalition," I believe was what they said. But they're talking about the colonies that they're basically Earth is at war with the colonies
that they created. Humans
that have went out and colonized space now that we have space travel. And I know from a couple other shows that I've watched that have had kind of a similar thing. The interesting part about it is I don't know right now which side is actually going to be the good guy or the bad guy, and I don't know that.
I hope they
that's a
don't.
new-
I hope they
it's-
don't tell you.
Yeah.
Like they tell you like through the story, like as it happens, and like at the end you find out, oh shit, I was the bad guys the whole time, or
Yeah.
some shit like that. That would be badass. They need to do
Exactly.
that.
Like a BioShock ending.
Never,
What's
no
Taco?
story has ever been better when it was a twist story. Like that is the ultimate story for me.
Oh yeah,
Especially
all
like
that kind of
Fable, where you got to choose your character. Unlike people say in Fallout, you could do that. You can't really. It's just like you kind of affect it. In Fable, you could be a saint or a bastard, and I love that. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Another thing that another way that they could go with it though, that I kind of hope they do, is kind of like in Gundam Wing, where the heroes basically end up. It ends up being neither one of the governments are really correct or like the good guys. It ends up being the heroes basically save the people and reestablish kind of the government in a way.
Die
But
hero.
basically,
Or live long enough to become the villain.
yes. But
Sweet
I'd love to
Aquaman
see
reference.
it. I would love to see it as the frontier colonies versus Earth, and they both end up being evil, and they both have to end up being taken down.
That's a great point though, because I didn't even think about that. Like, it's a new sort of, not really new. It's been done before, but in the Call of Duty franchise or in a Battlefield franchise, it hasn't been done. Where the story is basically us versus us. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. We know that Germany's the bad guy. The Allies are the good guys, and we know exactly how that's going to play out. This you don't really know. It's kind of
Exactly.
like a hidden what's going to happen.
I'll give a twist to what Sam said. If there's like a thing where you don't know who's who, but then another option for that would be if it's like not really one's correct or wrong. It's just two different societies trying to live their lives, and it's just conflicting. But then they add a third thing, which if they added this would make it a real space game, and I would agree with it more than Battlefield. If they have to come together to fight an alien force, that I could go with. Because right now I just feel like they've literally, from what little I've heard of it, they've just took Call of Duty and put it in space. This is the first I've heard of any of the story about what's supposed to be happening. So hearing about it, it's like not just these two different groups on Earth are in space and now they're fighting in space. It's actually
It's Earth
space-faring
versus-
people and Earth-faring people are fighting in space. That is more my kind of speed for a game. But I don't know.
Yeah, they showed a little bit in the trailer. We'll have to show it to you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the fan base needs to get on target then because they're already
That was
pissed
like
off, but
the second half
Oh,
of my
God,
question
yes.
is why are like the Call of Duty, I guess the Call of Duty fan base now, why are they so pissed that it's not going to be the same thing again?
that's what I was just fixing to ask because so if you're a Call of Duty fan, let me ask you a legitimate question here. Are Call of Duty fans just being spoiled assholes, or do they have a point about if it's not broke, why fix it kind of deal? Are they being just
Well,
I know the
ungrateful assholes? I know it sounds like an easy question on the surface,
no.
but
This is my answer for everything that's this kind of question. If it's not broke, don't fix it. We're still driving horse and buggy.
Yeah,
We
here's
don't
what it
have
comes down to.
automobiles.
It's like
well, if
You
your
can't-
horse died, you didn't have
You
a spare
can't get
horse.
the next greatest thing if you never change from the original.
yeah,
if you don't have any ambition,
Here's what it comes down to is like one of the things I said before we started talking, I think, was like what I want is for companies to start making better games. I don't give a fuck what your story is or anything, just make better games in general. The mechanics, the story, all of it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah, COD's one of the most consistent games. I mean, the game's broken as shit if you've ever played one. But it's consistently broken. It doesn't change like majorly from one game to the next. It's always like this perk's bullshit, this gun's bullshit, whatever. But it's like if they did it, keep the basic mechanics of it, but add to it. Kind of like what they've done. They just added shit I didn't care for, like the exosuits, and basically they turned the game into Titanfall, I guess, in the latest one or some shit, and Advanced Warfare.
nah.
I don't know. That's what people were saying. It's like,
No.
oh, you're in a fucking suit and you're running across walls and you can like
Oh
Come
yeah,
up
it's kind
with
of like that.
I think it kind of goes to like, so this is probably going to be out of everybody's realm of expertise here, and probably even the listeners. But I've played in the Mortal Kombat fighting community for a while,
Nerd.
and there's a whole, there's Street Fighter, which is like the biggest fighting game, right? And there's this whole group of players that play this that they want the game to stay the same because they've learned it. They know they're the fucking best at the game, and they don't want people overthrowing them from being the best. And so they want to keep the steep learning curve for the game the way it was from the original one or the second one or whichever one's the most popular. And they want that to kind of continue on. And the reason a lot of those players don't like Mortal Kombat is because Mortal Kombat is constantly changing. And it's also, of course, completely different from Street Fighter. And so they don't want to have to learn these new ways of playing the game. They want it to stay the same. So maybe that's what the Call of Duty fans are all whining and pissed about. So, we have to fucking learn how to play it something entirely different now. But, I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's not... The shooting and the maps and, like, that's not really going to change that much. How much can you change Call of Duty? It's more about the setting and the story and, like, the creative things that they can put into the game because it's now in space, I guess. I just don't get the whining about it.
It's like what I was saying. It's like what they've done with the last few. Like I haven't played the last 3 Call of Duties: Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and Black Ops 3. I said I'd get it just for the story, which I will eventually, just to continue the story from 1 and 2.
Eventually,
when it's like $1. But the last 3 haven't added anything significant enough for me to care to buy it just to play it. Like I said, I usually play it with other people. And nobody has it. Amos had Advanced Warfare, but he got it. You got it free with your con. No, you didn't get it free with your con. You got something. How'd you get it? Did you buy it?
I
You found it on the street?
I honestly don't remember how I got it.
I think you bought it.
Probably. I think there's a pretty safe bet.
I think you bought it because
I
they
got
got
it.
or somebody. Or
Did
lazy.
you?
I bought it.
Did you say why you think that they're pissed about it being different?
Well, it's not that they're pissed
Oh,
about.
he continued your question. He added on to the question and asked again. And then I started talking.
Yeah,
pretty much. But like this one, after hearing y'all talk about it, makes me think maybe I would like it more with the story. It seems like they've actually added stuff to it instead of just same formula, a little bit different. It seems like same formula, big difference. Like the mechanics they could build for space would be a lot better.
Right.
Instead of just being you're still on Earth and now you can fucking jump 3 times and mantle over walls shit we've had since like the first Gears game.
So, Sam,
Chest high walls.
why do you think that they're so against the change from the same old, if you're like a COD fanboy?
Counter question: why is Hillary and Donald Trump the probably going to be the 2 presidential candidates?
Oh, we gotta edit that out. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Well, half the people are stupid, and half the people want it to stay the same.
No, half the people are stupid and half the people
There's
are
my
racist.
answer.
Good point, Dakota.
So they don't want to. So basically, what you're saying is they don't want to expand out of their comfort zone
No,
and
they don't
learn
want
something
to
new.
take a step out of what.
I mean,
they're
look, what are
doing.
these guys like so afraid of? Oh my God, you're not going to be the
I don't.
top player in the online
Actually-
game. Like, I don't understand what you're losing.
Actually, I do have something for it. It's that one. It actually is it is actually getting more attention because it looks like it's going to be different because it's going to be in a completely different setting. That's getting more people to actually look at it and decide they want to form an opinion. That opinion is building on the other Call of Duties, which is that it's the same thing and they don't like it. I think that's what most of the people are. It isn't that they hate that it's going into space. It's that they just hate that they're tired of the Call of Duty franchise in general. And so this one, since it's in space, it's getting more people's attention.
Gives them something they can latch on to say they hate it for.
Exactly. It gives them a reason.
Because all I've heard about the Battlefield is like everybody loves that it's going like World War One, but
Because
everybody hates
Hardline
that.
was piss poor to a lot of them.
What was hard? What?
I
Hardline.
don't know shit
That
about
was
the
the
Battlefield
Cops and
series. So I can't
Robber.
really.
Cop and robber game.
Had a cop.
I didn't hear about it.
That was
Yeah.
Hardline.
This,
A lot of
the
people-
game when you play it is one team is cops, one team is robbers. It's literally that.
Yeah.
Nothing more. Set in the same basic like I don't even
It
think
was
the maps
modern
are as
times.
big. They're like medium sized maps compared to their normal ones.
Yeah.
I
It was a
didn't
step
hear about
off from what they're used to doing. So that's why people were... When Hardline came out, it was so bad compared to what they used to do. It wasn't bad as a game.
So
it was just bad compared to what it
They
is.
did a change, and people didn't like it, and so they're like completely regressing.
Oh.
Well, I don't think they're regressing. I think they're going back to like they could still change, but they're going back to what made the franchise good. You know, I mean, whether it'll work or not, we won't know until it comes out.
I have a feeling that one's going to be the way more popular version, like game, and it's going to force Call of Duty to go back to the same old shit they've always been doing, and they were going to be stuck with the damn Call of Duty franchise for the next 10 years, doing the same shit they've been doing the last 10 years. And it's all going to be Battlefield's fault because they went and made a World War I game and everybody loved it.
Battlefield Civil War. Here we go. Finally,
now, if you went back that
here's
far,
something
I might
like
actually
that.
get into it because I love history. So
Here's something I want to ask you, just a random ass question to be asked.
give it 3 teraflops out of 5.
And I thought about this a long time ago. I don't remember how I came upon it. What would you think
Maybe
if
teraflops.
ever there was a version where the Battlefield people, who was that?
Yay.
That's EA
DICE.
mostly. And
DICE
DICE,
and
yeah.
EA, and then like the COD people got together and made a game together.
Infinity Ward and what was the other one?
Oh, together? Well, that.
If
If
they
they took the concept of COD and the concept of the Battlefield games, let's say Battlefield 3, not the new ones, and mashed that together, how do you think that would come out?
It would be a
How
train
would that?
wreck.
I don't like. How would that really
That's
work?
what I'm asking. It's one of those things that just popped into my fucking head one day when I was looking up some gaming news. It's like, what would happen? It's basically like the thing with like Marvel and DC where they like throw their characters together sometimes in comics. It's like, what if you took these two games that are basically the same concept? It's just war games, just one's a lot bigger than the other, and threw them together.
See, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is like one of them is like the maps and everything are so huge.
Yeah.
And then Call of Duty's about the smaller maps and like more of the chaos like going on in like the street and stuff. I don't really know how that would really.
I just wanted to ask.
I
See if
got
anybody
an
had
answer for that one. It'll be a train wreck because you're talking about two of the difference of the same things. What I mean by that is Call of Duty, fast paced, multiplayer, single player. You know, you got like a quarter of a second to shoot your enemy, especially on the hardest difficulty. Battlefield is kind of more sluggish. You know, you got bullet drop, you got
It's
stuff
more
like
realistic.
that.
Which
So,
by the
like,
way,
if
bullet
you-
drop is badass. All that.
If you try to mesh that together, I'm not saying it can't work, and probably those two companies, if they did try that, it may work, but I'm just saying I think it would probably be a train wreck because you don't know which ideas from which game you should put there. You know, it's like, shall we add the customization of Battlefield along with the customization of Call of Duty, or shall we make the maps and multiplayer big like in the old Battlefield, or should we make them kind of clustered in a good way? I mean that in a good way. Then like in Call of Duty, or you know, should we make the campaign full of twists, or should we just make it straight linear? You know, I mean, it's just there's so many aspects of the game that you could put together and make
it's
it
kind of
good,
like
but-
basically the only thing that's similar about the games is they're both about war and first person shooting. Like, because then everything else about them is basically different.
If you really want to change the series, and this is coming from both sides, make a real good squad based game. Like I think
Republic Commando.
Here's what, yeah, that too. Yeah, I would love to see that.
Yes.
You
but I'm
continue
just saying,
to talk about these games, and I've never played one.
I'm
Go
telling
play Republic Commando, you whore.
On what?
original
PC,
Xbox.
it's on Steam.
Oh yeah, it's PC. Yeah.
Yep.
For
But
like $2.
my point is that if they really want to shake up their franchise, and I'm talking about both Call of Duty and about Battlefield, if you want to shake up your franchise, change something major. Try your best try to rival Tom Clancy. Go after something else, you know, because we've had how many Call of Duty games and how many Battlefield games that have the same
Enough.
aspect. Now, I'm not talking about setting. I'm not talking about. It's just like, okay, single player. You find the bad guy, you spend the whole game chasing him, you finally get him. And that's usually in both campaigns. Twist here or there. Multiplayer, you get your weapons, you upgrade them, you prestige. You get better weapons, you upgrade them, you prestige. You know, you see what I'm saying? You do that, or you could try to go after Tom Clancy, who's been mostly unrivaled, which has got a new game coming out. I would like to see either Call of Duty or Battlefield try to pull off a great squad game, you know, like
Do-
Brothers in Arms. That was a good one.
Do a damn single player like action RPG type game where you make your soldier, you know, you give him his different skills that he has, kind of like a Mass Effect, but in the Call of
Make
Duty
an
universe.
actual war game. Make a game where you make a soldier and you go through a war. as this character instead of playing a character in this war. Like you always played as Price or you always played as Soap or whoever.
Yeah.
Let you make your own character and go through an actual war. You're just a grunt when you start, just going off doing whatever missions you're told, and then you can get higher up as you go.
And-
I think something like
Oh,
that.
sorry, Sam. Go ahead.
That would be really great. That's how Call of Duty went with Infinite Warfare, since this would be like a war that could entirely be shaped by one kind of like rainbow soldier.
And
I
for
just
that,
had a
exactly.
thought, what if Infinity Ward leads them into some shit like Mass Effect? God
So that's what I was
damn.
talking about. Like, if they go for, like he was saying, a different genre for their series and expand their like franchise instead of doing the same kind of thing every time.
And for those who say that it won't work, let me give you one grand example of how it did work. Halo Wars.
Halo Wars was awesome.
You go from a first person to an RTS.
I never played that game.
It was fantastic. I didn't play much of it.
but it can also
But that's part of the
it can also
risk.
screw your like thing as well, because didn't like most people hate ODST for Halo, where you didn't
They
play
hated it for the wrong reasons.
where you
yeah.
didn't play as Master Chief or
They
whatever?
hated for.
They did.
But
But that wasn't
I don't
different,
know what
though.
the
You
word
were,
is.
that was still a first-person shooter.
you weren't playing the
you
main
know.
character of the series.
But-
They got pissy about it.
Yeah, exactly. But to go from a
But I got
first-person
pissy, too.
shooter to an RTS, especially on a console, that's a pretty big, risky leap. And I think it paid off for them. So if somebody like Bungie could do that, surely Infinity Ward could do that. Surely DICE and EA could pull something out.
I
That's
think we were
I
going
think
though
when it
with
comes
the, let's
down-
do a new genre for the series and see what happens.
Yeah, that's
think
what I
what
mean.
happens
Whichever the
is,
first of those franchises do something like that would probably get my vote, because that's doing something different. That's innovating.
Honestly, I think
You know.
Battlefield has the better chance of that.
Yeah.
If they
'Cause
went into like
Well, they work
World
under
War-
EA. Hey, BioWare, how do we do single player games?
if Battlefield was to go into, after this game went into World War II, and actually just made it where it was entirely like vehicle based.
Just had another fucking game.
Like you had a few,
Say it.
like if you had a few guys
Sam
that
finish.
like controlled, you could pick. You had a squad of guys, and you could either be tank engineers, or like bomber engineers, fighter jet engineers, jeep like driver, like basically like having a squad of people that control a vehicle and go through like.
I was gonna say, basically what you're saying is like, say it's about a squad, a tank squad, and going through whatever war it is.
Yeah.
And Sam's the driver, Amos is the gunner, Dakota's the navigator, and I'm the fucking guy that gets run over or whatever.
Permadeath on, by the way.
So the guy cleaning the tank outside.
So it makes it like an experience for all of you guys.
God, why are we in
and
the
it's-
ditch?
And it's
Don't worry about
completely
it.
different from somebody else's
Strategy.
experience of that same story, and it's also completely different from what Battlefield always does.
Exactly.
So yeah, that'd be a good idea as well. Guys, we should just be developers.
Yeah.
We should.
Well,
So I had another thought, and there's two ways this could go, but I think one of them's kind of been done before. What if they had a series of war games where it was basically the same concept I just came up with, where you play this character and you actually go through a war. You go through boot camp, literal boot camp, not the bullshit like shoot the target, snipe the target, and all that shit. You actually go through a boot camp sequence. Go into a war, you start as a private, all that shit, and you go up as you go. But what if, I don't know how to make it so it doesn't seem ridiculous. I don't know how many watched X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
But you know how it shows Wolverine, he's immortal and he goes through like every war? Something like that, where you play either a single character and go through like, from the start of whenever your character's born and just go through like, just the entire history of a world. Going through wars and all that kind of stuff. That would be interesting too. I'd love to see that.
What?
So, are you saying make a game where you make a character like Wolverine and play through every war that
No,
ever
it's
happens?
like that's what I'm saying. That's
Be a
why
lot
I
of
say
DLC.
ridiculous. You would have to find a way that works. And the other thing I said, the counterpoint to your immortal characters. What if you played as this character in like World War One, which is what I said. I think they've done it. You play this character, go through the entire story. Next game's World War Two. Play as that character's son, and you continue through each game doing a different kind of war, just whatever.
Well,
Just like seeing the progression of a world, because that's one of my big things is seeing
Civilization.
seeing like culture as it changes. Seeing like I love seeing the world develop. Like Elder Scrolls, like each game's been in a different section of their world. So I didn't play until the one.
So it's
before
going from
last
like
one.
Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim. They're all in
The one
different
before
areas.
Skyrim,
Oblivion.
Played Oblivion, and then when I played Sky, I didn't play much of Oblivion, but I played Skyrim, and then saw a bunch of stuff from Oblivion in it, references and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, ESO. It has all the lands.
Mm-hmm.
It is beautiful. But for what you were talking about, just wait a year or two. I'm sure Assassin's Creed will be up to World War II by then.
Yeah, but that's like ridiculous. Like, I'm not talking about a ridiculous story with like stupid characters. I'm talking about living as a regular fucking person going through it.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, can we talk about how stupid it is that shit's getting a damn movie and you can't make a fucking movie that, like Halo, that would be an awesome movie?
Maybe next week.
Like, are you kidding me? God, I cannot believe that shit's getting a damn movie.
That could be our topic for next week. Anyway,
that just hit me, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's completely retarded.
yeah. So obviously we have it. The future of both the Call of Duty and Battlefield series kind of hangs in the balance at E3 this year. Once again, E3 starts in 4 days. Make sure you watch it on Twitch or your respective, source.
Pirating source.
Watch it on
Yeah.
Instagram, that's where it's at.
Yeah. But we'll have to see which side really has the advantage going into the busy holiday season, because that's when these games are going to mostly come out. It's Q4 of the year.
Well, go ahead. There you go. End it on this. Which one's going to do better?
Gears 4. I think
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen, yeah, there you go.
I
I think COD's going to win just because even the people who bitch about it are going to buy it. That's how they keep succeeding. It's just people just keep fucking buying it regardless of whether they like it or not.
Infinite Warfare.
Anus,
Yep, probably Infinite Warfare.
I'm going to say Battlefield wins. I have a feeling that it's going to blow Call of Duty out this time.
If it wins, it'll be because it managed to, like, what they do with Infinite Warfare is going to be so off-kilter from what people want. It undercuts it. That'd be it. It'd be the thing where everybody's still going to buy it, but it'd be the thing where some games, come out and they're horrible, and then, like, half the games get returned in, like, a week.
Well, and also it's going
That's supposed to be a lightning round.
It's going to have the Modern Warfare
We didn't say it,
remastered on top of it as well.
Bucked it up, Reed.
Oh shit, they're going to have the regular Modern Warfare on it. That's going to get a lot of people.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
wow, crap, we don't have time to talk about that. But
We can go as
I mean,
fucking
it's a
long as we want.
horrible-
Fuck the time limit.
I'm not. It's
As
a
long as
horrible
entertaining,
marketing
I don't give a
practice,
fuck.
but it's a smart marketing practice.
it seems kind of fishy to me.
They'll release it a month later by itself, but for that first month or two,
They're doing it to see if people will buy it. So yeah,
They're
might
doing
release
it
I'm right
to
with
make
you. on
If
that.
they
everybody
buy that, they'll buy
want
the thing I was talking about earlier where they'll remaster all 3 of the Modern Warfares and release that as a bundle. And I will fucking buy it because I'm a shit like that.
yeah, and that's why they're going to do it.
Exactly.
Because there's people like that, and me.
Because I didn't play the first one. I want to see the story.
There's people like that, and me.
I think I saw the other day they're making a remastered Skyrim. Shit's 5 years old. Are we really doing this now? Like,
No,
games that just freaking came out, we're doing remasters
Well,
already?
Skyrim was very popular.
Like,
Didn't it sell better?
then go
than-
play it. Like, it's
still
5 years
looks
old.
As good as anything that's come out.
But
on
Reed,
the
we
Xbox
can
One
have
and
it
PS4.
more nice and better sexy appeal on the Xbox
Which, if we
One.
weren't getting too close to where we're going to shut the show off, that would lead right into the they're making new damn consoles now. Where,
Yeah, we
they're
fucking-
slightly better than the last console.
Look at the bright side. We'd have plenty to talk about next week because E3 will be going on. We may make our episode longer next week. I don't know. Anyway,
Extended episode next week.
How long does
Yes.
E3 going for? Is it just a weekend?
I think it's just a
Forever.
weekend. I think it's a weekend. What's 4 days from now?
You're
That's
right.
Friday. Or no. Anyway, so that was
I don't even know if the mic got that.
that was 6 out of 5 teraflops there.
Oh, shit.
So you're gonna need a patch for that one. So that's our views on the Battlefield versus Call of Duty franchises. So a lot hanging in the balance when it comes to fighting for the fan base this year at E3. So we'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. Don't forget to hit us on the social medias: Tumblr, Facebook. What else we got? YouTube.
Roger.
I think you guys have Tumblr.
Brian's personal Facebook.
Yeah, that's under Brian, so we'll have to talk to him. But, yeah, we'd like to know where you see these franchises going, or maybe a franchise that we obviously did not talk about, what you want to expect at E3. Next week will be an E3 podcast episode.
6 hours long.
Oh, dear God.
But anyway, so we appreciate you guys listening to us. Closing thoughts?
Hey, if anybody out there has a specific topic or game that they're expecting at E3 or something that they see at E3 that they want us to talk about, leave it in the comments section and we'll look it up or look into it. And
We may read into it.
So the closing statement is something about mortals and something about kneeling.
Kneel, mortals! God damn it. I couldn't get it. That blew everything out. Alright, everyone have a good week. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Good lord.
Would you just say next week?
No, don't worry about it. Anyway, everyone have a good week, and we will see you next week for our E3 podcast. So everyone have a good week.
Sweet.
Everybody say bye without killing people.
Bye.